What's next? Been thinking about how this virus diseases infect people, and some respond better than others. I think it might go down to fear. I think fear is far worse than the virus itself, because fear does lower your immune system. It brings you in a bad state. It puts negative chemicals in your own system, negative hormones. Stress and fear are not, your body's trying to fight its own self by, too much endorphins and too much other chemicals for this fight or flight. And there's nothing to fight, so it just adds up in your system and just adds stress, and then stress adds other hormones. So if we could just try to be happy and not afraid of it, just basically, I'm not saying ignore it and be, completely forget about it. I'm saying be sensible. Wash your hands, for 20 or 30 seconds. That makes sense. When you brush your teeth, twice a day if you can. 3 times a day is even better. Eat healthy. Avoid white sugars. Avoid processed foods. Eat as much fresh food as you possibly can, even though all the stores are depleted of produce sometimes. But that's not a big problem. But we'll move forward. Avoid. It doesn't mean, if you have to eat processed foods, don't eat anything. It just basically means eat it in moderation. If you have to, that's all your choices are. If it's high salt and high fat and high sugar, well, try to modify it with something else. I do know myself that I have lots and lots of packages of instant oatmeal, and although instant oatmeal is not the highest because it's partially processed, it's better than the other things like candy bars and stuff. So, it's the best fit. You try to find what's best fit for you, but most importantly, if you're happy eating candy bars and depressed eating salads, although that salad might be a healthier food, it just don't bother. The happiness hormones, the happiness, being glad and being joyful, will heal you faster. Being in a better mood will heal you faster. That is proven. There are studies on that people who feel safe and secure and happy recover much quicker. There was actually a study, I remember, in school. There was a study on people. They exposed them to colds, and there were people who were just depressed individuals, sad, always found the negative, pessimists. And that took them, it was like 4 times as long than these happy-go-lucky people who just basically they had a cold. Oh well, I got the sniffles, I got the cold, and in the beginning they did the same level of uncomfort, but the ones who were happy-go-lucky and tried to just find the good in the day, those who read and just tried to enjoy themselves, they knitted, they just found things that they enjoyed. They didn't complain anything about it. They recovered a quarter of the time. That was a cold. And this COVID-19 thing is a cold. It's a nasty, nasty, nasty cold. But it's still just a cold. And that's the thing about cold, they're upper respiratory. They block your air paths, and without air, it's hard for us to live, hard for us to breathe. So, there is scientific proven fact that being happier will improve things. Avoiding fear will help you live longer. So, I don't want to constantly be harping on the sadness of this disease thing. But let's, enjoy it. If we can, people can help each other out and be happy with what we have and help others be happy with what they have, we can all get through it. But keep yourself first, protect yourself first, don't sacrifice yourself, because if you sacrifice yourself, you're actually not helping someone else, because you're putting yourself at a lower level. And if we can, as long as we're not impeding on someone else's life, as long as we're taking ourselves first and not hurting anyone else, that's the best way of living. So don't be fearful. Take yourself first. Don't hurt anyone else. All together, we'll get through this pandemic, this world terribleness, and maybe it will be a blip on the screen of history. What's next?